According to Newton's laws, if no forces are acting upon a body, it will keep moving forever. But this is not what our everyday experience tells us. If our friend here stops pushing the block, it will stop. The reason is friction. Friction is a force that acts when two surfaces are in contact and opposes relative motion between them. It arises as atoms from one of the surfaces and atoms from the other surface run into each other. The rougher the surfaces, the more these atoms are forced into close proximity. As a result, the larger the friction force. We can distinguish two types of friction. The first one comes into play when we try to move an object that is at rest with respect to the surface beneath it. We call it static friction. The static friction force increases as the applied force increases, until it reaches a maximum. If this maximum is overcome, then the object is set in motion. This maximum static friction force is directly proportional to the normal force exerted by the surface on the object. The proportionality constant is called the static friction coefficient, and it depends on the surfaces in contact. The second type of friction acts when the object is already moving. We call it kinetic friction. Like the maximum static friction, the kinetic friction force is directly proportional to the normal force exerted by the surface on the object. The proportionality constant is called the kinetic friction coefficient, and it too depends on the surfaces in contact. This kinetic friction is lower than the maximum static friction, in agreement with our everyday experience that it is easier to keep an object moving than to set it in motion.